Hi, welcome back to Art by Brooke. Today's video is an exciting video because I am doing a review of a pre-mixed paint pouring set. This is a 24 color acrylic pouring paint set by Hippie Crafter. Their website is hippiecrafter.com. Now, they were kind enough to send me this set in exchange for an honest review, but this video is not sponsored and they're not paying me for this video, so I'm going to be completely honest, just like I was for my Gen Crafts review. I'm changing up the format a little bit from that last review and doing a price breakdown near the end. So if you're looking for that, I will have timestamps on this video, and you can jump ahead if you're interested now, or just wait till the end. Okay, I can't wait to unbox this, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So this set has 24 colors, and 10 of them are metallic. Another interesting thing about this set is that you can actually purchase black and titanium white separately if you want. I believe it comes with both of those, but in my previous reviews, I've talked about how I always use at least 4 times the amount of white than any other color, and I need a lot of it for most of the techniques that I use. So having that option is really great. So after looking on their website, I found out that Hippie Crafter is located in Miami Beach, and it sounds like it was started by a small family. They have lots of other products. I haven't tried any of the other products yet either, but they have canvas, they have just acrylic paint if you want to mix your own with your own pouring medium, and lots of other kind of craft supplies as well. Okay, so this is the first time I am opening this box. It's actually a pretty sturdy box, which is nice. Okay, so there's a thank you note that talks about some of their other products. And yes, on the back, it talks about how they are a small family brand. Ooh, these look really nice. And they are all individually sealed at the top, which is handy because one of the issues with buying paint online and having it delivered is that there's a chance of it exploding and getting all over the place. So when they're individually wrapped, there's less of a chance of that, or at least it'll minimize the damage. So it looks like maybe that's happened with 2 of these. There's a little bit on the outside, but not very much at all. So I don't think we've really lost much. So it looks like this is a metallic white. So from the back, I think they have a regular white and a metallic white. So yep, here we go. So that's nice because you have 2 options for that. And let's see if they have a black in here. I think they do. Yep, right here. And these colors look really nice. Like there's a lot of colors in this set that I think I would probably reach for regularly. So I like seeing that. I do see a lot of cool colors, which that tends to be my favorite, as most of you who have seen my videos know. So this is already interesting to me. Now, like my other review video, I figured I would go with one of my favorite techniques and one that I think shows off paint really well, a geode paint pour. Especially because there are metallics and regular colors, and in my geodes I usually do a little bit of a mix of both. So I'm going to go ahead and pick my colors for the geode, and then I will open up those bottles and show you kind of what the bottle looks like. Okay, so I have my colors picked, and something I noticed that I do like is that they have labeled which paints are metallic and which paints aren't. So it's easier to tell than having to try to guess. I mean, you can kind of tell from these 2, but some of the other ones it was a little difficult to tell. So I have chosen metallic white, titanium white, and Mars black. Now, I think I'm probably going to end up using most of the titanium white for the background because I want to make sure that the paint flows. So in future paintings, if I use these again, I'll probably have to mix up my own white, which is pretty standard for what I've seen from pre-mixed sets, is that there's just not enough white. I also have metallic sapphire blue and phthalo blue. I think those will be very pretty. And gray and metallic copper gold. So we have 3 metallics with the white, blue, and copper, and then all the rest are regular. So I am removing the plastic from the lid, and we'll take a look at the inside. Okay, so it looks like they aren't sealed other than the plastic, which can be tricky for shipping, but obviously we didn't have that much trouble. And then let's look at the spout on top. Okay, that's a pretty standard size, I think. And overall, I really like the sturdiness of the bottles themselves. It feels like the cap fits really well, and they're not super cheap plastic. So I don't think that if I toss these in with my other paints, I don't think that there'll be any trouble with these getting punctured or anything. They're pretty thick plastic. So I'm going to go ahead and open all the rest, and then we will get started. Something else I just thought to mention, I just smelled one of the metallics, and it smells a little bit like house paint, but nothing super strong, like not super fumey. The non-metallic ones also smell the same. I like to mention that because I have a lot of sensitivity to strong smells, and so I'm starting to kind of notice how different mixes smell, and I'm trying to communicate that in case that's something that could bother someone. Okay, so this is actually very interesting. The white that exploded, it didn't actually come out through the top. It actually has, let me see if I can show you, it has like a slice in it. It seems like it's mostly stayed together, so I think the paint is still usable, but that's interesting. That feels like kind of a freak accident that probably doesn't happen very often. Because there's not actually a seam there usually, like if you look on the other sides. So, very interesting. So obviously the sealing worked, but something happened there. Maybe it got cut when it was being packed. Okay, so the way I do my geodes is I make a small dirty cup for a couple of the layers, and then the rest I do as a puddle pour. I'm going to go ahead and speed through most of this, unless I have comments to make as we go. So my next step is to cover the whole back with white. So this mixture is very liquid, quite thin, definitely thinner than my usual mixture, but that doesn't always mean worse. It's just different. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and use all the white because it's almost gone, and I really want this to flow as much as possible. Also, I did shake all of these before using them. That's what it said on the box. I do see lots of bubbles in here, so we might get a lot of cells, especially because we have the metallics in here. Okay, so now is the part that I have to work pretty quickly so I don't let the paint sit and dry too much, and then we'll come back and talk about it. I am a little bit concerned about that metallic white. It's definitely a little bit thicker than the rest, so it might have dried out some. So I'm a little worried about that slowing things down in the tilting process. Okay, so this is looking very cool. Of course, I did run into the trouble of getting it to move the way I usually like geodes to move because I didn't have enough white to work with, but again, kind of expected that. And I see a lot of bubbles, so I'm going to go ahead and use my torch and try to pop those. So it's quite liquidy, but also it seems to be holding shape over here where the white is just kind of sitting. So I'm a little worried about it self-leveling, but we will definitely take a look at the dry painting as well to see if that kind of stays that way. It definitely does smell a little bit like house paint, but it's not a super intensely strong smell. There are a lot of really tiny little bubbles, so it'll be interesting to see if those kind of pop as it dries as well. In my experience, most of my paint pours will do that, but you just never know with different materials. I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes and then we'll come back and take a closer look. It has been about 10 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, but this type of paint pour doesn't really change that much after it's been sitting. Let's go in for a closer look. So I want to start up here with the white so you can kind of see it's not really self-leveling. I had that happen with the other pre-mixed set, so I'm not sure if that's just kind of a common thing with these, but we'll just have to see as it dries what happens. So you can kind of see the edges like that. And I tried to guide it over the edge, but just didn't want to go. And also I could have done a little bit better if I had a little bit more white left, but just didn't have any more left. So let's go down here and see all the different colors. So you can already see the metallics, and in my experience, metallics usually get even more pretty as they dry. So that'll be interesting to see in the finished piece. I love all these layers, especially in here. The dirty pour creates some really beautiful, very small, thin lines. Sorry, my camera does not like to focus very well on different light and dark paint. So there we go. I do think that these paints have potential, and I'll look forward to trying them in some other techniques as well. I feel like only doing one technique doesn't give you the exact best look at how something behaves. So this is just a start, but I do think that it worked pretty well. And I'm going to go ahead and insert a clip now of the dry painting. Here is the dry painting. So I'm trying to get it in the light a little bit. The metallic is nice and shiny. And as I've kind of noticed with some of these pre-mixed paints, the regular paint dries really shiny and the metallics dry a little bit more matte. So there's kind of a really cool texture difference between the two. And I kind of like that. Now you can see all the tiny pinprick holes. I've noticed that with other pre-mixed paint as well, and it's not my favorite. I don't usually get that with my own paints, so that's a little frustrating. And also you can see that it didn't really self-level very well. And especially it's noticeable on the sides. Here you can see, oops, if it doesn't want to focus, there we go. And I think, up here. You can really see that here. It did not, even though it was very watery and thin, it did not continue dripping down the side, which is a little strange. So, again, that could be helped with more white. There we go. Got it to focus again. That could be helped with more white. And I do plan to do some more paint pours with these paints, but so far it works well. It's still not my favorite, but I definitely will use these again. I like the vibrancy of the colors and the way the metallics look. So keep an eye out for more videos using these paints, and I will continue to let you know what I think. I think if you've never paint poured before and you don't know how to mix your own paint and you just kind of want to try something that is easy to get your hands on, it's definitely a good option. It's not super expensive and the colors are really beautiful. Especially if you plan to use smaller canvas, I don't think you should run into quite as many issues. One thing you could do to help reduce some of these crazy bubbles is shake your paint really well and then let it sit for a little while. The more shaking you do right before pouring, the more air will be in the paint, and that will give you a lot more bubbles. Now I'm going to break down the cost for you. So this set of 24 colors on their website is $37.99 US dollars. This is for 24 2-ounce bottles. So that breaks down to $1.58 each bottle. So about 79 cents an ounce. I did notice that on the hippiecrafter.com website, if you purchase over $20 worth of products, you get free shipping. And because this set is $37.99, that would automatically apply to this. So that's good to keep in mind as well. So let's compare the prices to what I've previously worked out as the price of my paint. When I mix mine, which I use Floetrol and then whatever paints I have, and sometimes a little bit of water, my cost ends up being about $1 to $1.50 for 2 ounces. It varies a lot because it just depends on the type of acrylic paint that I use. Sometimes I use craft paint, and sometimes I use the heavy body acrylics that are more expensive. If you use Liquitex pouring medium, that ends up being around $2.94 for 2 ounces. Now, I'm going off of my own mixture with this. This can definitely vary person to person. So we'll compare that to this set. So again, this set is about $1.58 for 2 ounces. My mixture is about $1 to $1.50 for 2 ounces. And Liquitex pouring medium would be just under $3 for 2 ounces. Now, I mentioned before that you can buy their pre-mixed white and black separately, which is great because I use a lot of those colors, a lot more than my individual colors, but they are more pricey in the larger bottles. So those come in an 8 fluid ounce bottle for $11.99 each, and that ends up being about $3 for 2 ounces. So that's right up there with the Liquitex pouring medium costs. But the nice thing about pre-mixed paints is that you don't have to worry about mixing your ratios. You just try what they have. And if you like their consistency, it's great that you can buy white and black separately. I think that's something that everyone who makes pre-mixed sets should do. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. What did you think about the set? And what color should I try next? Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click the bell so you get a notification every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.